What's up, YouTube? Today I thought I'd try something a little different and actually talk about one of my watches. So what I have here is a Sinn 103A SAB. This is the blue dial version of the 103 that came out a couple months ago. And I've had it for a few weeks now and thought it'd be a good time to do a first impressions / review type video because it's not the most common model and I thought maybe some people would find that interesting. So the 103 has been around a while and there's a lot of information online as far as specifications and features and things like that. So I thought I would focus more on my impressions of this particular version of the 103. So one of the most notable features of this model would have to be the color of the dial and bezel insert, and I guess strap if you want to consider that as well. It's a really nice shade of blue that kind of fits somewhere between royal blue and navy blue. But not only is the color cool, the finish on the dial is this really great sunburst, and the silver sub dials with the black writing really kind of set off the whole look. There's also a matte black day and date wheel, and you have luminescent hour markers and a white print for the minute and seconds track going around the outside of the dial. There's a lot of design elements in small amount of space, but I think it works pretty well, and it really gives this watch a unique appearance. So like I was saying, the bezel insert is the same color as the dial, but the finish is a little flatter, I would say, which I think complements the dial nicely since the sunburst is so strong. I don't think you'd want two finishes competing for your eye when you look down at the watch, especially when the sun hits it. It almost might affect the legibility a little bit. The case is stainless steel and polished, which is also a nice design decision on Sinn's part. They're typically known for their tool watches, and a lot of those watches tend to be satin finishes or brush finishes. But this polished stainless steel really complements the sportiness of the watch. Flipping the watch over, you can see the nicely decorated Valjoux 7750 movement. I really like this movement in this particular model. A lot of times you see movements that are too small for the case back, and there's a lot of kind of dead space around the outside, but this one fills it up nicely and really looks like it was designed to fit in this case, even though it's a very common movement found in many watches. Another thing I really like about this movement in this particular case is that there's a certain depth to it when you're looking at it closely that just gives you a feeling of quality and a sense of appreciation for the engineering that goes into designing and manufacturing movements of this caliber. One thing I'd like to point out that I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of at this point are these screw-down chrono pushers. These are not exclusive to this model, but this is the first watch I've ever owned with screw-down chrono pushers, and I have kind of found it a little tedious when attempting to time stuff. That said, the craftsmanship and quality is definitely there. The ridges are sharp and the machining feels nice to the touch. They feel very secure when you have them fully open or closed. There's no rattling or play. The strap that the watch came fitted on is a blue calf croc print Sinn strap. And I have read a couple of complaints that the color may be a little over the top, but I think that kind of fits what this watch was going for. I've seen pictures of it on bracelets, and I'm not a huge fan. That said, another interesting feature of this watch is the additional strap that came with it, which you can see here. I'm not a huge fan of this style of NATO Zulu strap, but it's definitely a nice quality strap, and it gives the watch a totally different look for those of you that do choose to fit it. And while we're talking about this additional strap, this is the first Sinn watch I've ever seen really that comes with an extra strap and this larger Sinn box. It's about twice the size of a normal Sinn box, and it has this nice pull out that holds your Sinn tool and extra pins in the strap, and it has a place here for the warranty card, and it actually also came with this polishing cloth. And like I said, this is the first Sinn model I have seen with this style of box. I'm not sure if that's because this is a limited edition or if this is just something they may be doing for certain models or newer models, but it's definitely a nice extra, and it makes the package that much more special. So here you can see the watch on the wrist. Like I said, it has pretty good wrist presence for a 41 millimeter watch. It's 17 millimeters in thickness, so it's got some size to it in that respect. And personally, it's pretty much at the absolute limit of what I would wear. But I tend to go with smaller watches in most cases. But that said, it definitely feels good on the wrist. It's not too bulky, and it's a different look for the average Sinn watch, that's for sure. So that is the Sinn 103A SAB. And if you found this review to be helpful or interesting, please like, subscribe, or comment. Thanks.